Hello, and welcome to Chocolate
and Cheese.
My name is Dom.
And Lulu.
That's right, okay. Welcome, hello you lovely, lovely people who have accidentally downloaded this podcast or who are just accidentally streaming this to their mobile device. Not actually streaming to their mobile devices.
I'm sorry.
But maybe to their computers, yeah. Lou, what are we doing today?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
I really love the way that you prepare for these shows. You know, it's just awesome. You know, you're just there. You know, maybe you don't want to actually, have too much information.
Yeah.
Maybe I think you're worried that this might actually, interfere with your spontaneity.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's why you want to just keep that out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just want to be surprised by the topic of today.
So it's on purpose. I'm not into that thing on purpose.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, that makes you just so professional. Would you?
All fresh and new.
It's going to be very fresh and new. Would you like me to surprise you with the topic today?
Yes, please.
Yes, it is urban legends.
Ooh.
I know, that's already quite exciting.
Yeah, my favorite food.
Food? Your favorite food? Yeah. I'm not quite sure, Lou, whether you know what a legend is, but actually...
Of course I know.
You don't know. Okay, so you were just taking the mickey. All right, so we're talking about urban legends. I remember we already did that before. Now, the twist to this is that these urban legends are actually true. I mean, that just makes it even...
It's actually true, so it's not legend.
Well, you could still call it a legend, actually. You couldn't call it an urban myth, but you could call it a legend. I think... I'm not quite sure, but I think a legend is just an interesting, spooky story, these stories that we're talking about today, they're actually true. We have prepared 3 of them for you. And shall we start with the first one? Are you excited?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the first one goes like this. There's basically a couple somewhere in America who checks into a motel. Okay. Sometimes they say hotel. Doesn't really matter. And they get into their room and they immediately notice this very foul smell in their room. I mean, I had this before when I went into hotels like London, for example. It tastes. It smells really horrible. You get like a moldy smell sometimes. I mean, the thing is, I'm not too fussy as a hotel guest, unless it's really gross and I really can't stay. I mean, for example, if the shower doesn't work properly, if the toilet doesn't work properly, I would ask for room change. If it smells a bit funky, well, you put up with it, and that's exactly what this couple did. So it was a very foul smell. They spent the night, but they couldn't really sleep well. The lady, it was a couple. She just woke up continuously saying, "Oh my God, that smell is just so rank. It's horrible." So the next day, they actually called management, at reception, saying, "Can we just change the room? There's some, or can you just do something? We don't know where it's coming from." So actually, somebody from reception comes upstairs, trying to find the source of this really, really horrible smell. And then it seems to be that was actually coming from the bed area.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure whether they checked just under the bed, but they didn't see anything. And then the staff actually removed the mattress. And under the mattress, there was a body of a girl.
Oh.
A decomposing body. So she was dead.
Oh.
I mean, that must just like been the most horrible thing to actually see. Not only is there a dead person in your room, which is like the grossest thing already, you have slept on top of a dead.
Oh, that's really
I know.
creepy.
I mean, that's just really, really horrible. Now, having said that, I mean, I think before you were just like probably thinking, oh my God, the people before me have just left something really rank. Maybe they have eaten a sandwich and it's just rotting somewhere. But to discover that, it's just really, really horrible. Now, like I said, this actually happened. And it didn't just happen once. This happened a couple of times in different places throughout America. Happened in Las Vegas. We stayed in Las Vegas. Happened in Atlantic City, and it happened also in Kansas City and a couple of other places in America. Well, like you would imagine, when people try to hide something in their house or in their flat or even in a hotel room, it's under the bed or it's in the cupboard. That's where you just hide things. And it's just such a gruesome discovery. It's horrible. But apparently this happened. I mean, obviously it's not a common occurrence, but so somebody, committed a horrible crime and just stuffed it under there. So this happens. It's really unsettling. The second story we have for you, I would call the haunted house story. I have come across this a couple of years ago, but I wasn't aware of the whole story. I only got snippets of it. It's a very, very bizarre story. It all started with a film crew of the hit TV series $6 Million Man. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
This was quite huge. It was starring Lee Majors, who was also like the star of the what was that show called now? I forgot actually. He's playing a stuntman basically. This guy was huge in the 70s and 80s, and this is basically a hit TV show.
Our golden time.
The golden 80s, absolutely. Now this film crew was basically filming in Long Beach, California, and they were actually using amusement park for that particular episode. And they were in a haunted house. Like the haunted house that you find in these amusement parks or fun fairs, whatever. And so they were in this haunted house, set up the camera, set up the lights, and they accidentally bumped into one of these like scary props, like a horrible zombie, So they bumped into him, and the arm fell off. So they just wanted to put it back, but they actually realized, oh my god, there's a bone in there, and there's some flesh inside. So this thing was actually real. It wasn't a prop. This was an actual person who was embalmed, like the kind of, to prepare them for eternity,
But who put that part?
Well, who put them there? Exactly, yeah. I knew this part of the story a couple of years ago, that they found this real dead person in a haunted house. Now, but there's more to it. They actually discovered who that was, and it was actually a guy called Elmer McCurdy, and he was actually a criminal. Yeah, and
why he end up?
I can tell you, in 1911, there was a shootout, probably in that area. Not quite sure now, but he was basically a train robber, and he was shot dead on the scene. They put him into the morgue, and the undertaker actually embalmed him. So that you can actually see him. They sometimes do that with people, so you can actually, watch them for quite a while. They don't decompose, they don't rot straight away. It's almost like a mummification. So it's like a mummy, And the undertaker was so pleased with his work that he actually, put him on display in his undertaker parlor, so people could actually come around and have a look at his work. So he was quite pleased, and he made quite a bit of money from that. He actually charged people to have a look at this mummy of a criminal, okay?
As his art.
As his art form, absolutely. Now, people, this was quite a popular tourist attraction, and there were a couple of people who said, I want to have a part of that, cake. I want to have a slice of that. So a couple of people came around and pretended that they were, I think it was a guy who said he was his brother, and he basically wanted to have the body back. So the undertaker obliged, okay, have whatever you want, but they weren't family at all. They were basically part of some kind of funfair group, So they basically wanted to use this guy, in their show, okay? And this is really how this happened. So this guy traveled with that funfair group through the Americas. So loads of people have seen this embalmed body, and then he finally ended up in this haunted house. Okay, well, until this film crew actually found out, hey, this is a real person. Now, once they made this discovery, actually, they reburied the actual person, and he was laid to rest in Oklahoma. But I think that's just a horrible thing, especially you're in a haunted house, and the zombie that you're looking at is actually a real person. I mean, it's just so gross. But like I said, it's a real story, so this really, really happened. Okay.
And I just wondering, there's no ghost or someone
wow.
saw something.
Yeah, yeah. You mean like a spirit?
Yeah.
That was, yeah. Maybe somebody got the grudge, actually, so I have no idea. Actually, talking about the grudge, which is interesting that you mentioned this now. Our last story is a Japanese story that you told me again some time ago. And it's basically about a man in a flat who starts noticing that things were going missing, number one, and that things weren't always in the right place. You know, he was quite a tidy man, you know, and very specific about, you know, where he would put things. So he thought, oh my God, is there somebody coming into my flat? Is that possible? Or am I just losing my mind? Am I maybe my memory is failing me? And he put up with it for quite a while before he actually decided, you know what, I'm going to put up some security cameras. I had enough of this. I really want to check whether somebody's coming into my house to do these things. So he ran it overnight. The next morning he checks the actual recording, and he saw a woman in his flat emerging from a cupboard, who then goes through his house, you know, and just wanders around, you know, making herself some food, you know, and stuff like this.
Not his girlfriend.
Not his girlfriend, a complete stranger. Okay?
Oh.
And, I mean...
Cupboard?
Yeah, she was living in the cupboard, absolutely. Or some kind of wardrobe, you know, somewhere, you know, where he didn't, you know, look inside. Which also makes me think, like, okay, if you had a strange experience, why don't you just... I would investigate my entire place to make sure that there's nobody there. So this happened to this guy. He then called the police because he thought it was... in the beginning, he just thought there was a burglar, actually, you know. He didn't expect that when the police arrived, well, they opened the cupboard and that woman was actually still in there.
So is there room?
There was enough room for that woman, absolutely, yeah. And the crazy thing, what they have actually then discovered after probably interviewing that woman, she's been living in that guy's cupboard for a year. So he has shared this with this woman and he was completely unaware. And it's just so bizarre. I mean, it's just so crazy. And at the same time, not only would it creep me out like hell, you know, how mental was this woman? I mean, how lucky that she wasn't just like a crazed serial killer, you know? She could have done anything to you. I mean, it's, really horrible.
But she just wanted to live.
She wanted to live for free and live in a cupboard. It was just so bizarre.
She must be so quiet.
She must have been quiet, yeah. I have no... Oh my God. It's just...
Because if she sneezes or cough attack at night...
She could have been discovered at any time, you know. It was just it's just... This is like one of the strangest stories I've ever come across. I mean, of course, here nobody died, you know, a wonderful thing. But it's just so bizarre. It's really, really bizarre. And this concludes our first 3 urban legends, which are actually true. And there are loads of them out there. We're going to collect some more. Yeah. And we're going to tell you all about them. All right? Okay. Did you like this?
Yeah. I will check the mattress, under the mattress.
You shall, yeah. Or maybe even at home. Is there a funky smell in the bedroom? Maybe there's already. I think maybe everybody should check just in case there's a bit of a foul smell in your bedroom. You might want to look after that mattress, underneath that mattress.